3, 2, 1. I'm Ryan Klein.
And I'm Paul Warren.
And this SEO is Dead and Other Lies, starring Ryan Klein and Paul Warren.
All right, you know what? Okay, I made a mistake. I'll do the introductions.
No, we're going to keep it. You'll do the next one, so it's fine. So, Paul and I were hanging out here. It is February the 20th. What is it? Yeah, it's February 20th. Okay.
It's February 20th.
I can't see the calendar too well from here. And exactly 1 year from now, it'll be 2020. And, we're kind of spitballing some of the ideas for today. And I think that we're going to kind of spitball and talk about different topics and ideas and bounce a couple things off about more or less funnels and nurture campaigns, because it's important that SEOs do all this great work, generating a lot of qualified traffic, and then what happens after they go to a site or a landing page or an email.
So a funnel episode.
So we're just going to talk about general things that we've experienced in the past, some ideas, and maybe you'll learn something, maybe you won't learn anything, maybe this won't be published, but I guess we'll find out.
Well, way to set expectations.
No, it'll probably be okay, because we have a lot. I mean, let's be real. We've been working more or less with like funnels and nurture for as long as we've been doing this, one way or another.
You're really working with funnels whether you think you're working with funnels or not, if you're doing SEO.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the whole idea of it is to bring qualified traffic that turns into some sort of action, whether that's they're buying a product or they're downloading something, which could be part of a funnel. But you want them to do something when they come to your website, which is sort of why you're doing getting the traffic to begin with, right? So we can just sort of explain how maybe like a content SEO funnel works to start, right?
Okay. Yeah. You do the one that you do, and you know pretty well. I'll tell you about mine.
Yeah. Well, this is more. I'm not going to give any because there's like a lot of specific things I could give. There's like too many. So just like overall.
Right now, Paul's crossing his arms because he doesn't even want to talk about this, but he'll continue to talk about it.
No, I'm thrilled to talk about funnels. So, the idea is you want to target things on your website that's sort of high traffic terms, and then you want to target things that have like a little more longer tail, and then like long tail things like keywords, right? So we've explained this stuff before in the past, but if you don't know what like long tail keywords are, then I don't know. Just go back and listen to all our episodes or something and up to this point. But we definitely talked about it. We're not getting into this right now.
And re-download it so we can add to the downloads.
Yeah. But the idea is like something that's extraordinarily long term has a much higher chance of converting for whatever reason that you're looking for, right? So if you just type in the term, hot dog stand. Well, actually, it's like a local business.
Vegan hot dog stand.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what?
For our pals that never eat their sweaty hot dogs down in Orange Avenue.
If you're like hot dog stand, and then maybe you just get some ads, or not ads, but like some Google SERP returns there for like buying an actual hot dog stand, and it's like from Amazon. They're like, hey, you want to own your own business and run a hot dog stand? Here you go.
Sounds like a venture that you may have pursued almost at some time.
If you're like hot dog stand in Orlando, okay, hey, we're drilling down. Google's like, this person's looking for a place to get a hot dog at in Orlando. And then if you're like vegan hot dog stand in Winter Park, man, you are looking to purchase some vegan hot dogs in the vicinity that you are at that time. And so, you want to have content that's sort of like, that can appeal to like a lot of different things, what people are searching for, and put them in a funnel and lead them down a funnel into a purchase through the content that you create.
Okay.
That's an overview.
Okay, so this is an overview. So what are the next steps? I guess, let's say someone. So back in the day, if someone like went to like a web page, right?
Yep.
And then they landed on it and they didn't make the purchase and they left the website, that'd probably be the end of it.
Not no more.
Not no more, because grammar is paramount on this podcast. There are several things that you can purchase, you can take, and I think that one would include a pixel, which you're going to start doing remarketing elsewhere, and then another one could be a swell call to action or some other freemium, or I don't know if people really call that anymore.
You can market to them on a different network for like Facebook or something.
Well, like the remarketing.
Yeah, part. But it just goes beyond like, what you're thinking. Like everyone has seen ads be served to them after visiting a website at this point in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just take it a next step and really personalize it. And get stuff on Facebook and your social networks as well.
I remember actually when I started doing SEO, this is like a quick little side story, but I was working for an SEO company, actually the first place I ever worked in my entire life professionally. And I remember I went to a like lawn care company. And I remember after that, I started seeing their ads everywhere. And I was like freaking out because I didn't know what remarketing was. So I'm like, how in the world did this person know that like
who is watching
I like
me?
went to it? So I like freaked out because it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But the best part was I was asking all the SEOs around the office like how they know, and they're just like, wow, that's just amazing.
That you didn't know that?
No, it's amazing. They didn't know how it worked either.
They had no idea either? Oh, man.
Yeah.
So it's like you worked at a great agency.
I know. So it's like, actually, I'm like, and this is the people I learned SEO from. No, it's okay. We give them a hall pass because they're pretty cool.
So
anyway.
Depending on what you want the person to do on your website, it's going to kind of change how you create your funnel, right? So a lot of things that people do that work really well, right, is they give you something for free for your information, because that gives them the opportunity to, one, market you through email campaigns, right? And then they know specifically the thing that like you gave them their information for. So it's like, hey, you want this free ebook? Just give me your name and your email address, and I'm going to give you this free ebook. And now I know exactly what you're interested in that you downloaded it for, and I can send you follow-up emails to talk to you about it.
So how about, because we are going to be able to talk, turns out, Paul, we can actually talk about this for about 30, 40 minutes. Let's equate, not equate is not the word, but let's kind of take like these things that are probably like, these things we're going to talk about have been around for a bit, but I think that a lot of the purpose of this being that we're going to be, appending 2019 to it is what people really have to do to make them still succeed in 2019. Because an ebook that you made back in 2013 would not succeed in 2019 for different reasons.
Well, I mean, I think it's just always you want to have something fresh, up to date, and valuable that you're giving to someone for free, right? And that can be a lot of things. It doesn't just have to be like an ebook. It can be an ebook, but it could be maybe like a certain tool, right? So maybe you have something cool on your website that calculates something that people need, and then they want the calculation. It's like complex, so like, hey, how to calculate if my house, like how many solar tiles I need in my house, right? Mm-hmm. And then you give them that information in an email report after they fill out that stuff on your website.
See, now you're talking. So yes, this is definitely the direction that meaning for that to go in.
So you have,
it's offering value that's not in the
free value. That's very high intent. If you're going through the work of needing to know that, you're probably interested in making a purchase, right? But now that you have that information, they're going to go on like a drip campaign for like an email.
Well, let's not get there yet.
Yeah. Or maybe you get their phone number and you call them up and
you
talk to them about that stuff.
That's good. I can feel it. I'm feeling like the mojo going, man. So yeah, it's thinking about offering something of value that isn't so like almost generic at this point. So yeah, instead of like doing an ebook like, 10 ways your SEO could fail, it could be like, instead of a report, like I'm not going to just like, I give you a PDF that you're just going to read it like whenever. It's going to be something like, get this report now, and it's going to have all flashy stuff. It's going to rate stuff 1 through 100. It's going to give you A, B, C, D, E, F, because E is a grade, in SEO reports. It's like probably instant gratification for getting like something of value, I think, instead of like, here's like this PDF. Because it's like, it's still value, but I think that there are much better ways to think outside the box when it comes to providing something of value like instantly and still getting their information.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's just going to depend on on what you're offering, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just think about like, when's the last time that you filled out a form to get something?
Oh man, for me, I don't want to give away information. So for me, it's probably been a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I used something the other day, and it was like a content template or something like that. And, I was like, okay, fine. Here's my email and my name. I'm never going to purchase anything from you. But what people don't realize, too, is sometimes the end game isn't to sell something to that person from that. Sometimes it's like, I'm going to build up this email list of people that are interested in a specific topic, and then I'm going to sell that email list to another company or rent it out.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole separate
thing. That happens
a
lot too. So just anyone out there listening that's not aware, like that's like a thing. That's like a huge part of marketing.
Well, if you look at like disclaimers in terms of service, it's probably going to say more or less like your email is going to be like used to no end for whatever.
Yeah. So one of the ways too that, just in your everyday, how funnels are used to get you to make micro purchases is, and I think we were talking about a little bit about this with your device over there from Amazon.
Oh yeah,
listens to us.
She's been unplugged a lot more recently, right? Getting more and more paranoid.
Yeah, I mean, so and just even your TV, if it's a smart TV, like they can hear what you're saying, they pick out keywords of that stuff, and they serve you ads about it. So like, if even within Hulu, it's like, hey, here's this movie that you were talking about the other day, right? And I see it like all the time with stuff like that. And so I think like voice recognition is going to be like a larger part of like how to serve ads that are going to put people down like a funnel.
Okay. What do you think that funnel? Because we haven't really gone exactly to the funnel part, and the funnel meaning that like you start with like the broad audience, and then actions keep on happening, keep on narrowing it down until you get to ultimately a bunch of people that are ready to buy that are highly qualified.
I mean, ultimately all funnel is, right, it's just like finding someone that has a potential intent to purchase and then forcing them to purchase it.
Well, trying your best, essentially.
Yeah, just
through actions.
Tricking them through whatever ways humanly possible so they need to make that purchase.
So I guess we can move on to that a bit. I mean, some tools that we use, currently we're using Autopilot, and the funnel will kind of move people along like a track where, let's say we're working with our email list that we got from offering tools or freemiums or subscribing to whatever. And they're moving, down that path. Your track will kind of look like, do this. If this action happens, you're going to do next action. So if you send an email out and it's someone that opens email, then, they would take like one route. If they don't open the email, maybe you wait like a few days to send them another email, the same email again. Like that's when you start building out that track.
Yeah. I mean, so this happened to me a couple years ago, but I was like, damn, this is pretty impressive. So I was on some website, I think it was HubSpot or something, and I had downloaded some like maybe it was like a CRM guide or something like that from like a year earlier, right?
Oh, they're the CRM people.
Yeah. So I downloaded it, and I guess I gave them my like business information, right?
Ooh.
And then so like a year had passed, and I was on there looking at some article, and then after I clicked away, like after 10 minutes, I got a phone call from them, and they were like, hey, we saw that you were interested in blah, blah, blah. We just wanted to follow up with you.
So about that, is impressive, of course, but how much would that affect your likelihood if you were interested in their product?
I don't know. I mean, anytime you can get someone on the phone with a salesperson, people will make purchases just because they're uncomfortable saying no. So I don't really know. But like, I mean, it didn't do that for me. But they must do it for a reason. I just thought it was like pretty sophisticated to like go from that to like filling out a form to download something to like revisiting that website like a year later and then getting a call.
That is interesting.
I mean, like everything that you have to have set up to like automate that and then have a human being that you hire make that call when it comes in is like kind of impressive.
Well, let's go down a path. I'll tell you a couple things that have happened in my experience pretty lately about going down the path where you have someone's information because they've like they're somewhere in your funnel at some point, and you have salespeople, you have personnel in place that can like actually do personalized follow-ups.
Yeah.
And they like know how to do it based off like you visiting the site. So, I'm seeing it's become more and more popular for people to record quick videos and email them to you with like a thumbnail. Like in the email, that's like, hey, Paul.
Those are huge. Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that? Because I've only gotten one in my entire life, being like, sales are being pitched.
No, my last company, we did that all the time.
So you actually
the
did that
conversion
to people?
rates go way up if you have a video in there, and then if you can make it an interactive video with a call to action at the end of it, that leads them into like.
Well, there's two videos. Funnel. I mean, there's like one that's like a quick video where it's like the person, not personalized. They're like, hey, what's going on? I want to introduce you to this. If you have any questions, blah, blah. But what if they're like, hey, Paul, I'd love to, hop on the phone with you 15 minutes to go over like whatever that you were looking at on my website. I mean, like, it doesn't get much more personalized or than that.
I would say like the only thing that I've seen that converts like even higher, right? So let's say you've downloaded an ebook, you get an email with a video. And then the video leads you to sign up to like a live webinar, and people that are in live webinars will absolutely like sign up at a way higher rate than any other thing.
So you think it's a no-brainer for like a lot of people to conduct webinars if they have the resources and the time?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Would we do a webinar about exactly what we're talking about right now?
People, I mean, SourceWave, that's how I made millions of dollars, is doing webinars on the SEO services, man. Like doing this live, and they're like interactive, you know, and like you can be like, hey, just go ahead and send me, like, put in a 1 right now in the chat if you want the 80% off or whatever, you know, you want the deal like right now. And then someone sees that's the person tied to it, that's the account, and then they can call them up.
So when they log into the webinar, they're logging in with like at least their name and their email or something.
Yeah, they get like a GoToMeeting or whatever. They have to put.
So they have to.
Yeah, I mean, you can even, I think, autofill it based off of like.
Well, the only difference with them, not to say that that's not a fantastic idea, that's already been around for years, but they're always selling like products. It's not necessarily like a service. It's like our SEO, like Auditor 2.0.
No, I've seen people sell services. At my last job, they were absolutely like 90% of their revenue came from doing webinars, right? And they're absolutely selling a service. I mean, they were selling a product, but they were also webinars that specifically sold services that they offered as well. But lots of other companies like do that all the time. I mean, I've like service-based, like SaaS companies, you know, like Conductor, you know, things like that are like SEO tools that are like very expensive, like monthly fees. Like they all do webinars and stuff like that.
So I'm going to say something I probably never even said like on the podcast before. It might be a first time, is that I know my own company has to start doing webinars.
Oh man.
Yeah. I know we have to do webinars because we've tackled a lot of things. We've tried out a lot of things, but one thing that I'm hearing like across the board for people, like, and then also like almost bragging or flaunting it is webinars.
Think about like if you did, you know, just anytime you've gone to like an SEO conference or like a legal conference, right? And you've seen like an SEO guy do like a pitch for like local SEO in it. And at the end of it, they're always like, oh my gosh, I could ruin everything very, very easily if I'm not like super careful. Like if you just did that in a live webinar format.
What do you mean by the ruin part?
Like you can ruin all of your local SEO very easily if you're not careful. Like
we
went to Avo in Las Vegas and we saw a guy from Nifty Marketing who's very, very good at
I don't remember what he talked about though.
He talked about local SEO, and he showed everyone how the local SEO ecosystem works, and how if you have a phone number wrong or an address wrong, you can have a bunch of duplicate citations, and it can ruin everything very easily.
Yep.
Right. So gave him enough information to try it, but like not enough that they wouldn't fail. You know. So just enough information to be dangerous. That's the name of the game. If you did that in like a webinar format, especially to like certain clients, like it would kill it. I mean, it does. I mean, like obviously that's why people do it now.
Well, a great way to look at a webinar too is like, well, you have a bunch of people that have taken the time out of their days that are typically like higher level people that are decision makers that are like knowing they're dedicating an hour out of their day to like listen to you talk and sit down with pretty much undivided attention, which is a big deal because there's pretty much no way you can really ever do that anyway.
Yeah, that's a long time that people will dedicate to just focusing on what you're talking about.
Do you think you do it on purpose? I mean, most webinars are about an hour. So that's probably like a reason that they're an hour, not like 20, 30 minutes, because like the longer you have them on there, the longer you hear you talk, the longer they hear that you know what you're talking about, the more likely they're going to be inclined to be like, this might be the guy that can help me with something.
Yeah, and people love it too because it's interactive, right? You can ask questions and the person that's leading it can answer them like in real time.
And that's great too because people, there's like this intimidation.
Like they don't have to be there and raise their hand.
Well, that's the thing.
In front of a group, but they can ask a question.
There's a huge intimidation factor with speaking engagements from potentially speakers themselves that don't particularly ever want to like do a speaking engagement.
Yeah.
And then the people that would typically have a great question that they would love to have answered, but they don't want to like walk up to the front of the stage with a microphone and be like, you know that. Yeah. So webinar. I'm glad the more we hash it out, you know, it sounds like it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, and it really can work for like a lot of different.
And you know who does them? Always the big guys. And why did the big guys do it?
Because it makes money.
For damn reason. So let's talk briefly about because it's all about nurture. This is more nurture, I suppose, because these people are going to be at your webinar. The follow-ups are going to be brilliant. It's so easy. I mean, if you have people that were like at the beginning of your webinar to the end of your webinar, like these people are like qualified more than probably many other things in the world. And doing follow-ups is easy. How was a webinar? Like, what did you think was interesting? Did we cover anything? Was there anything we didn't cover? Anyway, that's obvious. But how would you go about getting people to attend the webinar?
So, I mean, it's all just depending on what channel you're trying to get to, right? Like that you're using to get to them. If you're using like SEO, usually, if you can have some long tail content that is like kind of answering someone's question, but like, it's sort of like you give them enough information to like be dangerous, like I said earlier, right? But you don't like really fully explain all of it to them. So you just give them enough, and then you can lead into CTAs in your site that have like a countdown clock of like when the next webinar is coming, and then it's specifically related to like the topic of what they're on their page, and you can automate like all this stuff, right? So it's like learn how to use blah blah, blah this thing, right? How to use this tool, or like maybe it's like even if it's for like SEO, it's like, hey, find out the top secrets to rank in the map pack for 2019 in like our live webinar, right? Then like maybe like what brought you to it was like, hey, here's like an audit page for like citations for 2019. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. So, yeah. How far do you go? Just because my mind is whirring around because this is such good stuff that I can't believe we weren't going to talk about this. But how far do you go as far as like trying to give them a little bit of the FOMO if they don't go? Like, are you like, this is stuff that could like change your law firm? Do you go like, this is what your competition is going to kill you on?
So
like,
this is really interesting actually. So the content itself, I always just make it informational, right? But somewhere else on the site gives you like an opportunity. So maybe there's a big CTA in the middle of it that's like, hey, learn how to learn more about this stuff, right? But what I always do, if you have like an additional CTA in the right rail or something, is around it, you want to put social proof, right?
Okay.
So there's been a bunch of studies on social proof, and that if there's like positive affirmation from people that are similar to you, that you can read the reviews around that button, you are much more likely to click on that button and agree to like be a part of it.
So it'll be like, Kathy G in parentheses is like, this is literally the best thing that ever happened to me, and it's just like they're a lawyer and their city.
That is correct.
And it's just like boom, and then it's like kind of quotes like that scattered.
Lawyer, city, name of the firm.
Yeah.
If that we're using, because I mean, how often do you just see that and you're like, is that even a real person? Like you see a picture of a person on like a chat, and it's like an auto.
Well, I think like for me, if you do social proof and it's not like, they're withholding a little bit of information, it'd still be a benefit. But if you can get permission and it's cool to use completely, obviously that'd be significantly better.
Get that if you can. But you can do that for like a ton of things. But I always like to have some sort of sense of urgency, and then something that specifically ties it to the page and the topic that they're looking up, right? So that's why it's important to like categorize your content by like what it's about. Like lump that all together, and so it makes it like a lot easier to do that. You can get really granular and like set things up where it pulls stuff from like the H1s or whatever, and like loads that like near the button in the CTA for you if you want. And I would definitely encourage you doing that. But those are all like, and when you really see, then we're kind of getting into like how you test these things, like so testing your CTAs at this point.
Yeah, we were going to start getting into like A/B testing, which I didn't want to talk about really
on this one, right?
Let's just leave the tidbits and then be like, these things just work,
But anytime you can have a live audience, the percentage of conversions for that are astronomically higher than any other marketing channel.
I don't really think that it could get much better than that.
Yeah.
Because I'm racking my brain for like a bunch of other things, and I think there's obviously a correlation between like quality and effort. So it's just like webinars are a lot of effort.
You got to have a personality when you're doing it too. You can't, it's a performance. You're live in front of a bunch of people, and if they don't believe in you and they're bored by you, you don't have it, then it's not going to work.
You just keep like a bar on the side that shows like who's there and who's leaving, and just sees people dropping off. And you're like, please don't go. Like, so, do I sound terrible? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think SourceWave, did it as good as anyone I've ever seen do it.
So look up some of their webinars, and you can see pretty much firsthand.
They have webinars he's recorded, put on his YouTube channel still, to this day.
What I would do personally, and this might be funny for other people, but I would practice a few so I can critique myself and just say that they are previous webinars that people missed, just as like a way to warm up and actually have some content out there. You're like,
yeah,
you don't like that idea?
Well, no, I mean, that always goes into like, why not have a repository of webinars, right?
Well, afterwards,
because people aren't going to go to a webinar just to be sold. They're going to a webinar to learn like a specific thing, or like get something that's going to help them. They don't want to sit through like a sales pitch, right? No one wants to. So, I mean, but then do you want to give people that when you know having them in a live format is a way higher chance for you to make a sale?
Well, there's no doubt that live is the way to go. I completely agree. But also another benefit at webinar, and this is more like I hand over to the SEO side, is being able to repurpose webinars is amazing too, because they can be transcribed, they can be put into videos, they can be sent out in newsletter again, they can be embedded on a website
for content. Yeah.
So it's great there. So there's also the benefit there. So if you do your first webinar and you did a really, really bad job getting people to watch it and 4 people joined, nothing happened, hopefully you can get people really interested later on by saying like, this was a previous webinar, and then maybe they watch and they're like, hey, that was pretty good, and I don't miss it live the next time.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a following. I mean, eventually you'd probably get people, if your webinar was good and it was good content, that would be there for every single webinar.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of good options. A lot of people absolutely do that. And you get someone to come. I think it's like a trust factor too, right? So then you like watch it again, and then when you get an email from that person, you're like, hey, guess what? I got a new product I'm dropping right now. Check it out in this webinar. We only have X amount of seats, and it's happening right now. And
I love that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine really like that's like the end goal, of course, with the webinar.
Well, because it's like urgency, but you have nothing to lose, right? You're not like, it's not saying get it right now and get 20% off your purchase, right? It's just like sit in here and see what I have to say. There's limited like seats for this, and you're not going to be able to do it.
Well, can you imagine 1 or 2 things happening? Like, A, you have such a good following that you really limit to 100, and then someone tries to join, and it's like literally you can't join. Can you imagine that person being like, "Whoa,
I missed out."
That's like kind of crazy.
You get follow-up emails like, "Sorry, you missed out."
That's that.
We're having another one in like 3 weeks.
Can you imagine how much of a rock star you'd look like? It'd be amazing. And then the second is like the first 100 seats are free, and then the next one costs $8. But you can't really do that.
You don't want to charge for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's how people do it, and you can make a lot of money off that model. And it's very successful for a lot of different industries.
So this is the funnel nurturing / webinar, mostly 2019 podcast. But just know that webinars, these people are going to be the absolute best people to enter a funnel or nurture campaign, without a doubt.
Yeah. So, but also anyone out there listening, if you want to learn more about, I mean, creating a really good converting funnel is definitely like an art and a science combined all in one, and it's very complex. There's a lot to it. I would just go to YouTube and start like looking at people's videos for like click funnels. It's like one of the number one softwares people use to make. I mean, it's just like a software that you can make web pages very, very quickly to lead people down a funnel to make a purchase.
Well, why don't we talk about potentially unique touch points in the funnel? Because funnels are about kind of touch points. So, it's going to, most of the time it's very email driven, obviously, because that's like the one way you can like get in front of someone every time. I think that if you're just doing remarketing email, plus,
I mean, I wouldn't even say that's true. I wouldn't say that's true.
You don't think it's mostly email?
No, because like, let's say maybe you made a purchase on, you made a purchase on a website.
So you're saying like a post sale funnel?
Yeah, that people do that all the time, like add-on sales for stuff.
I don't really get hit too hard with post sale, especially like Amazon.
It depends on what you're purchasing.
They just follow up with a lot of
where you're purchasing from.
I'm just purchasing a lot of weird stuff.
Bongo drums,
diapers, and mangoes.
Mango and mangoes.
Yeah.
It's weird and all. So, but good luck with that. It really just depends. I mean, like you can do funnels straight from your website, if you can, if you have a good enough landing page that people are coming to, and then from paid ads, like that's all like a landing page is just a really good funnel from your paid search campaigns.
So you're talking about like not long-term funnels, you're talking about like short-term funnels.
Yeah, I mean, think about like you watch YouTube is like really garbage for conversions, honestly, but
I haven't heard of a good campaign yet, but
there are other video formats out there that you can send people down a funnel and they'll convert pretty well. I certainly have done that in my past for different web pages. So basically, I had a high trafficked web page, that ranked really well on Google for like particular financial terms. People came to it, and then there was a video that explained it in great detail on the page, right? So it's like, if you don't want to like read all of this, so TLDR, you can just watch this video right now. In the video is a pitch. Hey, if you want to learn how to use this in like greater detail and how to make money off this and some other ones that we have that we didn't talk about in this article, just put in your email address in this like at the end of this video, and like a form would pop up in the video. Put that bad boy in there. They could send an email that would then pitch them to sign up for like this webinar.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I mean, the email is always a valuable asset because, no matter how much you do like remarketing or you do Facebook ads or doing like a lot of paid campaigns, the visibility and the reach is always going to be kind of ambiguous and not complete. I mean, when you do an email, it's always going to land. It's landing in their inbox.
Yeah,
and they already like know who you are.
Or we would also just send them directly to the register for the webinar too. We'd just be like, here you go. Here's the times for like the webinar coming up. I mean, they did like a webinar like 3 times a day about it, so it was like easy for them to like see it during that time of the day. But it would get like 10, 15, just that one page, 10, 15 signups a day, every single day to go into that webinar, and then maybe like 4 of them would buy it like a product.
Did we even discuss how we get people exactly into a webinar? I mean, it's one thing if you have like a good email list, but what happens if you don't even have an email list?
I mean, so what I just gave you as an option is like a good way of doing it. I mean, you can always rent email lists from people. That's going to be very costly to do that.
Yeah.
You can build your own email list, by giving out free stuff, and then slowly building that up over time, and like maybe like doing like an automated newsletter through your email list. But I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can do that.
I mean, I'd give Facebook a shot. You have a Facebook page.
Facebook's great,
and then you can target them by interest.
You can do funnels really within the type of Facebook ad that you're doing. So you can promote a post, anyone that's interacted with that post, or you can promote a video, and anyone that's interacted with that video, you can record that information, and then you can advertise them later on with like a different thing, right? So maybe you just have like a really short, like 30-second teaser video, not even 30 seconds, like 15-second teaser video about something that's just like very interesting, and they watch it, right? So if they're really like watch a video, they're probably willing to like maybe read a small article or something, right?
Yeah.
And then if
it's the give a mouse a cookie approach.
That's right. And if they read that small article, they're probably going to give you some information.
And then you have
more information.
And then you post, your blog that you're having a webinar, and then you post on Facebook, and you said you like watching stuff, you like reading a couple things. Yeah. Why don't you check this out?
But the whole point is like you just got to start trying it out and testing it and finding out how many steps are necessary to get to the bottom of the funnel, which is where they're going to make a purchase. Like maybe it's just 2. Maybe it's just they watch a video and then they're really interested, and they'll go directly to like giving you information. Maybe there's like 7 steps in there, but you got to like test it out and see. And then steps that aren't doing well, you get rid of them, or if it's not working at all, maybe you add in a couple other steps, but you just got to test it.
What are other touch points that one can do besides sending emails, besides remarketing, besides sending like a personalized video, besides inviting them to a webinar?
I don't know.
What are some touch points we could be doing in 2019 to get people really excited?
Somewhere.
Well, I mean, what I can say, it depends what stage of the potential cycle they're at. It depends what you're selling, of course, but weapons, if you're, I don't even know what part of the funnel you're at.
What part of the funnel are you in right now?
When do you start sending people things?
When?
Yeah, when do you start sending, like, let's say they're potentially like a good sale. We're not talking about like just like a necessarily like B2C, like B2B even. When do you start sending them stuff? Like
the second they download something.
Well, when do you start sending them like something physically?
What do you mean?
Like a stripper? No, I'm joking.
Well,
like
4 years.
Like a lunch. We had this one company that reached out to Market My Market back in the day that sent us like this big like maze, and it was like it looked pretty expensive, along with like we'll take your business, like everyone in your office, out to lunch, just if you like let us hear us out. And if you did the maze, it spelled out something like what's up.
And while I mean that sounds really awesome, and I love tchotchkes for sure, I don't know. I mean, I think when I worked in legal, I got like a digital card from.
That one.
From Scorpion Designs.
Not we? I wasn't there anymore. No, Scorpion, whatever. But didn't like Courier you get a quote for how much that costs?
Yeah,
and it was like at least $40.
No, they were less than that.
Oh, it was less.
They were like $16 a card.
But it had like a little video screen embedded in it that autoplayed a video.
Yeah, it was a little booklet, and then you got it out of an envelope and you opened it, and like it just played the video.
But that's wild.
It was pretty cool.
But was it personalized?
I don't think it was personalized. No.
Don't you always think
it would be really hard to make it personalized?
I don't know about you, but I always have the insurance company mentality that like, people always complain about insurance companies like, oh, the premiums are so high because they spend so much money marketing, they have to roll that in somewhere. Do you feel like when people go like outlandish with their marketing and do stuff like that, it's just gets rolled into their cost to begin with?
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
they
but
definitely have like. Well, I mean, they're doing it because it works, right? Like it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be spending money like doing it.
That's like.
But it doesn't work as cheap or as like efficiently as some other ways. Probably not.
Do you know that legal video production company called Crisp?
Yeah.
And their big thing is giving away Teslas, which is absolutely bonkers.
That's how much money they're making. They can just cover that, and it doesn't matter, and they're still making money. So
yeah, it's pretty funny. But it's just like, you know what? I mean, I guess that like lawyers know that anyway because lawyers are not stupid. But they're just like, no, like, oh, there's like probably this is 50% more than maybe the next guy, but I can get a Tesla.
I won't say that lawyers are stupid. I would say that lawyers are ignorant of like marketing, like most are. The vast majority just want to be lawyers, right? They're like, oh man, I don't want to market anything. I just like I went to law school. I did all this work.
Well, I mean that's any lawyer that I work with is like, I don't really want to do the marketing. So that's the whole reason we work together.
It's an expense. It's an added expense, right? Yeah. But if you can make it interesting and exciting to them, because like so much of it isn't, right? I think like you have a higher chance of signing something like that. It's like Geico commercials. Like, why are Geico commercials about cavemen and like a gecko and like all that stuff? Because insurance is like inherently boring, right?
And because a caveman or a gecko,
they have nothing to do with anything. But like Geico is a very successful insurance company because like they're like, oh, that was like at least funny and interesting. So if I'm gonna go with a boring product, I might as well go with the one that's like an interesting company.
Well, and then the Progressive was just like, we can do something kind of weird and humorous, and then Allstate was just like, we're a little bit more serious. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Allstate does all that kind of stuff.
They're just like, when you're in trouble, we got your back, that kind of stuff. So I mean, also consideration is playing into like the personality of, I guess, the typical audience you work with. I mean, if it's B2B, you're gonna know what their personality is more than B2C because it's just people in general.
Yeah.
And that's going to affect what you do on your nurture and your funnels because that's what we're talking about still.
Know your audience.
Know your audience. And then once you know your audience, you can target them on Facebook, not as creepily as you could back in the day.
Well, anyways, I hope we gave you guys some good knowledge on funnels. I know it was a little...
It's a little convoluted, but no, we were spitballing though.
Yeah.
We didn't come into a plan. Paul didn't even want to talk about it.
It's not like we're trying to funnel you guys into anything. We don't even have ads.
You know what our funnel is?
Just giving it for free.
Our funnel is like just listening from episode 21 down until the mysterious one. Let's auction off episode 1
someday. Yeah, you know what? I will. If you give me at least $14, I will send you episode 1.
Yeah, seriously, PayPal. I don't know if you have PayPal set up, but if you want to hear episode 1, just PayPal link.
No, I only accept cash.
Just go to his address.
Come here in person.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4 somewhere Avenue.
But anyways, yeah. But thanks for listening again, guys. We had fun talking about funnels, and
it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, we'll probably have some follow up episodes that are a little more detailed in funnels because honestly, we got funnels to build of our own. Well,
that's the whole reason I don't want to take too much more time. The whole reason I got like really hung up on this is because our company and me personally is just like. I'm like almost getting to the point where I'm dreaming in funnels because we're spending so much time on it, developing it, and trying to get good information out there. And we've learned from our mistakes already because everyone makes mistakes, but everyone gets second chances.
Second chances in Florida. So, anyways, yeah. But thanks for listening, guys. Remember, I'm Paul Warren,
and I'm Ryan Klein, and I'm Paul Warren,
and I'm Ryan Klein, and this is Opposite Day. But this has been another episode of SEO's Dead and Other Lies.
We appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.